Hello, editing John, blah, blah, blah. This is the feed version, blah, blah, blah. Free, longer, uncut version, blah, blah. Patreon.com/EHDBZ, blah, blah, blah. And here is Spencer with a pre-recorded message before we get into the actual episode.
Hey, everybody, this is Spencer. We're looking for feedback from the community to help us out with the last couple episodes of this podcast. Right after this, we're going to do a saga in review, which I would love to get some community questions and comments of the stuff that happened since, like, the World Martial Arts Tournament up until they defeat Kid Buu. Like, any your favorite moments, questions for Eric, stuff that will confuse him, confound him, interest him, maybe, or just things that really appealed to you guys. You can send us that information in an email at mail@ehdbz.com. You can also text us or call us. Either way is fine, using the phone number 385-DARE1OX. I know you've got your phones out. Just dial that number, give us your thoughts, and call it done for the day. Don't put it on your to-do list. Just get her done. And if you could include in that message, I love Dragon Ball Z because, and I hate Dragon Ball Z because, just 2 sentences, spoken or typed, would be great, and it will help us out with our finale. I hope you guys enjoy what we do with that information. I've got a cool little plan for it. So thanks. And here is the rest of this weird ass episode. Well, gang,
we're here.
We have watched the last 5 episodes of Dragon Ball Z as requested, because all of y'all put forward your hard-earned cash dollars toward a Patreon goal. Eric is joining us for this very last episode of Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z. Last review episode. We're still going to do a saga and review and stuff, but for episodes 287 to 291, Eric will be joining us to talk about these guys, because they are something to behold.
They are episodes.
This is what I would consider the first blackmail episode. Like, I was forced into actually watching the show, not just talking about it, but watching it. So glad to be here. Love it.
Can you give a sneak preview of your thoughts?
I think the past, 2 years have been a pretty good sneak preview of my thoughts of the show. But if you need a reminder, it's DBZ sucks.
Wait, so are you saying that even after all this time,
291 episodes worth,
Eric hates Dragon Ball Z?
Eric still hates Dragon Ball Z.
That's a good title.
I feel like that's something. That's like a title for something, yeah.
You want to know what? Like, you guys really messed up. If you guys gave me true, like, PTSD and made me watch the entire show, maybe by the end of it, I might have been in a place where I could have said not all of this show sucks.
We could have
like, you would have seen some 15-second clip that you were like, yeah,
I would have had to, right? Like, I couldn't have gotten through that without, like, finding a place of zen somewhere in the show. But
like a moment to breathe at some point.
I can get through 5 episodes, no problem. Just grit those teeth and bear it, and here we are.
My God.
Oh boy.
And oh boy, are we here? Here we are. The final episode of the very last podcast that we'll ever do.
Yeah.
Wait, we're doing another episode after this, aren't we?
2 more, actually.
2 more. Oh yeah, because we're doing the wrap or the review of the
but this is like the
and
last. We're reviewing the last episodes of Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
Today.
Oh.
You think I would know that? I'm on the show.
Yeah.
Not just on the show, creative.
I had to finagle some stuff to get to the episode count you wanted, so I hope that you appreciate.
I still don't know what's going on. Well, and usually we do like a whatever the fuck talk about whatever the fuck, but we just talked for the last 2.5 hours.
Oh my God.
Something.
It turns out we like talking to each other.
Yeah, wow.
We should start a podcast.
It's a good idea.
I mean, we could fake something. I don't know. What have you guys done lately?
Nothing.
Did you guys watch the Super Bowl?
No.
No.
Okay.
A big fucking thank you to the highest tier of Patreon. I say that wrong every time. Patreons
I know, it's great.
that we have. And we're going to start off with a newcomer, actually.
Ooh.
Newcomer Dalton Plunkett. Thank you very much for choosing to join this bullshit. Well, you shouldn't. It's not worth it. Thank you for joining the ranks of other individuals such as The Fish. Good old The Fish. I remember we talked about The Fish's name last time you were here.
Yeah, I learned this whole new thing. It brought in my ideas of the world.
Yeah. And then also Tyler Hyatt. Good old Tyler Hyatt, who's been around for literally a year.
That's crazy.
This is marks the 1 year anniversary of Tyler Hyatt being on there. Thank you very much for choosing to support us. Seriously, why? And we have to thank MJ Snyder, who is just a phenomenal human being in general. I did this big, long fucking thank you very much bullshit thing last time, and I'm not going to do it again because there's no time. We're already 45 minutes into recording this fucking shit.
Oh,
gotta go.
Lord.
Thank you very much. Last but absolutely not least, never least, we want to thank you, Spencer Feuerstein. And that is everyone. That is everyone in our super insane tier. That's everybody in the beginning of the podcast that we have to shout out. Thank you very much for choosing to support this. We sincerely appreciate it.
We do. Seriously.
I'm done. Anytime y'all want to say words, you can now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Last time on Narrate's Dragon Ball Z, we got through the end of the show, and now we're doing the real epilogue end of the show, and now that's it. We're here this time on Narrate's Dragon Ball Z.
Man, I really love that your previously ons catch people up so that if they missed an episode of the podcast, they know exactly what's going on.
Right? Just really clearly encapsulates what happened.
Welcome to Eric Hates Dragon Ball Z. I'm Spencer.
I'm John.
And I'm Eric.
And today, we will be talking about the final 5 episodes of Dragon Ball Z, episodes 287 to 291.
It is a glorious day, a sad day for some, probably. Others are celebrating.
I think everybody's celebrating, but just for different reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's a momentous occasion.
It is.
Yeah, there you go. So I guess without any further ado, we'll get right into it. Starting with episode 287, the Japanese title is Peace Returns, Majin Buu, Champion of Justice. The American title is Celebrations with Majin Buu.
I don't know if you knew this, Eric, but I always come up with my own episode title for these things.
Ooh, okay.
And so the title that I gave this episode is a Super Saiyan 6 inches.
Did you come
That's
up with
so
these
good.
while we were watching?
Yeah, I just wrote them down.
Okay. Because we watched all these episodes together just to make sure Eric did his homework,
Yeah,
which is the first time that we've really done that. So.
yeah, literally forced me to sit down with them and press the play button, and here we are.
Yeah.
Which is weird. Like I haven't been a part of this part of the podcast. It's weird. Like I don't know how this functions or flows or anything. So
Oh, that's true. We're just
Yeah.
kind of throwing you in the deep
I'm
end.
just sitting back and watching like two masters at work. It's beautiful.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Well,
It's like I'm watching
all right.
Bob Ross paint with Van Gogh. Like it's amazing.
What the
I'm surprised we haven't done like a Bob Ross episode.
Yeah, actually, okay, which one of us is Bob Ross's? Wait, on Van Gogh. The dude that cut off his own ear, that's me.
It sounds a little bit more
It
you.
does sound John.
Yeah, you're much more wholesome. You're the Bob. Why even ask?
I mean, I was gonna say we could let the listeners decide, but I think we all know.
They would
Yeah.
probably come across the same conclusions. that we
Yeah,
did.
why even ask?
Anyway, this episode starts off with it's right after the finale, right after the Spirit Bomb takes out Kid Buu. Everybody's celebrating new Namek, Otherworld, everywhere. Gohan and Piccolo are standing together, and Gohan's like, "Are you sure he won't regenerate?" Which is like a fair question because every single other villain that's so far been defeated in quotes regenerates, including Buu. So
Yeah.
that's fair. But Piccolo's like, "Nah, he's really gone."
But
just so the audience knows.
Isn't it weird that like because this is such an issue, they explain, "Hey, no, for real, he's dead this time," and then immediately they're just like, "Just kidding, he's been regenerated." Holy shit, that's cool.
Hang on.
I mean, it's not immediately, but it's a few episodes later.
It's not regenerated though. It's reincarnated.
Oh, I'm sorry. Excuse me.
Yeah, there's a difference.
So there's a difference, which I guess we'll try to get into when we get there. But it is kind of weird.
Nonsense. How dare you try and bring up inconsistencies in this fucking television program?
That is my sole responsibility. That's all I do.
I know you haven't been here for this part, but that's about all Spencer and I do is we go through the episode and we just tear it to fucking shreds. The things that we love and that are awesome, we will absolutely just blow our loads over that. But no, I didn't have a better way to say that. But the stuff that's nonsensical, yeah, we're going to point at it. We're going to talk about it because there's some stuff in these episodes.
But first, Hercule addresses 7 billion people on the planet Earth because for some reason, although King Kai is not present in any of these 5 episodes, he still has the link open so that everybody in the Kai realm where Hercule, Vegeta, Goku, etc., are can talk to every single human being on the planet Earth. whenever they want.
Mm-hmm.
So did everyone just watch this?
No,
fight
but they heard about
They
it.
heard about it. The world
There wasn't
champ,
like a visual way to see it. But
told them that it was
Yeah.
happening, and so they believed him, and they helped the spirit bomb.
Oh yeah, that's right. You need all the spirit energy.
Yeah.
Which we'll get into when we do the Saga in review.
This is a little bit of a minor Saga in review spoiler.
Yeah, I
Definitely.
maybe I should change my approach to this episode and we do it less Saga in review because we'll get that later.
Yeah, I don't want to answer too many of your questions because we will get there and like the fans are going to provide.
Okay, I'm going to keep
some-
this to recap stuff.
So you're going to be confused and that kind of sucks, but it's in service of the greater whole
Right.
that we'll get to next
The
episode.
greater good.
Which is your suffering.
Anyway, so while Hercule is bragging about saving the world, Videl is embarrassed on Kami Tower for some reason because her dad actually did have a significant role in saving the entire universe, which is kind of cool.
Fidel's character.
She had a good like 5 episodes.
She. Oh my god, I love.
She was good until she died.
Yeah, she was great until. Ugh, they had to keep writing the show. No, she was great until they decided Goku. There.
Yeah, I don't know. It sucks because it's like this is the last episode. It's a celebration of the podcast in the last 2 years of going through all this work. But holy shit, these 5 episodes kind of fell flat. There's like one really good one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And that's it. I guess sometimes we do like an upfront, how do we feel about these episodes thing? We didn't do that this time. So right now I'm just going to say, what the fuck is wrong with Toriyama's obsession with Goku?
Yeah.
As far as a compact, well-told story is concerned, Dragon Ball Z for me ended in the Cell Saga. Right where Team 4-Star ended their program is where the show should have fucking ended.
I liked a lot of what came after, but the conclusion that it came to was tough.
Well, my very favorite part of this show came immediately after with the Saiyaman stuff. That still is my absolute favorite section of Dragon Ball Z so far. But then it just kept going. And
You hear that, John? We're like every other person that's ever watched Dragon Ball Z now.
yeah.
I thought we were going to have something special to say.
No, we're not, because it is what it is. And everybody's seen it for what it is. And now we're just everybody. So it's fine. It's fine. It's just the last 5 episodes. I don't know how to describe it. It's like,
I mean, I hope you'll get there.
It seems just like a petering out. Like they had this big, like I just came in these 5 episodes, so I didn't see the big cool event at the end. And then it was like the epilogue that went on a little too long and was like, what?
Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like to me.
it just felt like a celebration of all things Goku. And these episodes almost perfectly describe why Goku is a shitty human. Or sorry, Saiyan. Shitty person. And I've been done with Goku for the past 100 episodes. It's almost a bummer.
A little
in
bit.
like a weird way that I didn't expect.
That's interesting because I feel like, at least for me, who only sees negative, I'm sorry, but that's just where I am right now in this show. In the haste to show us how cool and good Goku is, it really is just highlighting all of the shitty parts about him and has the opposite effect, which is weird. And I don't know how you would see this as a hero, but I mean, it's great for me. I had immense fun watching it and just being like, this is great.
Is the thing. Like you'd almost tell what they were doing, but it just comes across so
We'll get into
backwards.
specifics in just a second. Everybody that was on the other new Namek comes over to the Kai realm and heals everybody up. Vegeta goes to kill Fat Boo because he's frickin' Boo, and Hercule defends him. Vegeta has some of his best lines in these 5 episodes at this part where he just like fully wants to vaporize Fat Boo while he's down, because as soon as Boo gets mad again, he's going to form another evil Boo and it's going to start this whole cycle over. And it's actually kind of a really smart point of view, but Goku pushes for Boo to be restored and Dende does it for whatever reason.
Because Goku said so.
Yeah, I don't mind Fat Boo as a character. I think he's kind of funny and interesting to watch in short bursts. And he's a fun like companion for Hercule. But man, he's the inception for all of what followed, right? Like the entire everything that we've had to deal with is because of him existing, just existing. But then what do? You just have Boo make the heroic sacrifice and say, Boo have gray evil in him? Boo need go now?
The Iron Giant. Boo is the Iron Giant.
Yeah, the Iron Giant. Yeah, it can actually make it like emotional and mean something. And instead of just like, they decide to keep him around. And then they're like, oh, but wait, Majin Buu was the bad guy in the beginning of this arc when he killed everybody on Earth. If they see him walking around, they're going to call for his head. Goku's like, nah, it'll be fine. We wait 6 months. We get the Dragon Balls. We summon Shenron, this eternal mythical dragon. Then we have him grant this bending space-time wish that erases all of the memories of the humans so that they don't remember Majin Buu. And so everything that we've done is null and void. And then this big pink grown man baby can walk around freely and do whatever he wants, which isn't dangerous at all. And everybody's just kind of good with it.
Well, because Goku said so.
Because Goku said so, and he's the hero.
And that's what happened. And they do it.
They do it.
I'm like blown away. That's wild.
You get like a quick reunion scene of Goku, Vegeta, Hercule, and the rest of the dads going back to Kami Tower, reuniting with everybody. You get to see Hercule reunite with Videl. I wish it was a little bit more drawn out because it's like the best seconds of this entire episode. Like these genuine character moments where fathers and sons and daughters are all reuniting, and it's like, it's nice.
But
and
it was almost tripping over itself to get through that. Like it had to do that because it was required, and it didn't.
It was so, instead of like making that a focus of the episode. Like, we talk about this episode all the time, but at the end of the Saiyan saga, they have this episode afterward where they're just gathering up the dead bodies, and it's like all about just the characters reuniting and kind of taking a breath after this huge conflict.
Yeah.
And it's the whole damn episode. Like it's 20 minutes of that. And it works because you need to breathe that much. It wants to get to the victory celebration so badly that it doesn't dwell in these reunion moments, these people that haven't seen each other, that have been dead and brought back to life and like gone through some serious shit. It doesn't let them just reunite. Like,
I got an example of what this feels like. And I don't know if a lot of people will agree with me. I don't know how people feel about the end of Return of the Jedi. I have always thought the ending of Return of the Jedi was really rushed.
Oh, I like this because it's one of Eric's favorite movies of all time.
It is?
Yeah.
Yes.
I love Return of the Jedi. I like grew
sweet.
up watching Return of the Jedi. It was recorded off TV. Like VHS tape that got so grainy you could barely see parts of it. I can see the argument where it feels rushed, but in Return of the Jedi, you're saving all of that. Like you have the reunion and stuff beforehand. Like the reunion is with his dad, like Vader and Luke. Like I feel like that's the reunion that you're in Return of the Jedi for versus the other way around.
Yeah, I guess the comparison that I'm making is that end celebration song that they extended in the special editions.
Oh, yeah.
Where they like cut to the different planets, like celebrating the fall of the Empire. And like, that's kind of what I think the comparison is that extra stuff that they add in where it cuts to the planet and the statue of Vader falling and the blah, 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 blah. That's like what this feels like. Like they had to attack on this extra stuff versus they could have spent time really exploring.
Wait, are you saying that you don't like the end of Return of the Jedi?
I don't mind it, but it just feels a little fast. Like I wish they would have spent more for the amount of time that they spent taking down the Empire.
It's not that you want the extra scenes, it's you want the scenes that are there to be longer.
Yes, that's all it is.
Okay.
Like going off of what you were saying about that other episode at the end of the Saiyan saga, where it's like really long and you get to feel it out and you need to breathe.
And why? Like, why are we rushing past all these moments? And the answer is, like Eric was saying, so that we can fast forward 6 months and have an extended 10-minute scene of Majin Buu just kind of walking around downtown trying to get ice cream. Like that's what the last half of this episode is, instead of having all these reunions and moments of these characters right in the aftermath of this huge event. In a movie like Return of the Jedi, there might have been reasons where they cut down scenes as much as they did in the ending, because it's like, okay, so the studio wants us to get under, whatever, an hour and a half or whatever. But like, you're trying to get under 10 minutes in this episode so that you can spend 10 minutes with Majin Buu. It's like, does it really need to, is that more important?
I feel like that's an interesting point of like, why are you making the show? It's not necessarily to have awesome character moments, right? Like that's not the heartbeat of Dragon Ball Z, right? Like you're there to have fun. Is seeing this reunion with everyone fun? Maybe for people like us that like to look at story,
a decent point.
But everyone else wants to have a fun little jaunt with Boo down the street, find an ice cream,
Yeah. I mean, like 34-year-old men or people of our age range will probably latch on more to like a son and dad reuniting.
Right.
But if I'm 13 years old and just getting out of junior high, man, is it funny to watch Majin Buu try to get some ice cream. Man, is it funny to watch him get mad and almost knock that ice cream guy out?
Yeah, you pretty much just landed on the heart and soul of the problems that we end up having with the show, is that we're no longer the audience. We used to be when we were kids, but as we're looking at it right now, at least I am realizing I am not the core audience for this show anymore. I think it's awesome still for what it is, but it's scenes like this that really hammer in that this show is not made for me.
It's weird though, because it still has moments that are made for us.
That
I feel like that we really latch on to.
Extremely confusing. And part of the weird maze mystery labyrinth nightmare that is Dragon Ball Z is some things are incredible. The third episode in this series that we watched was really well paced and great. But then, like, just like Eric said, that's why this is the way that it is.
Yeah.
Because it's not like finding the fun. But Majin Buu running around with ice cream, which is what happens next, because they summon the dragon to erase Earth's memory of Majin Buu.
Which is arguably the most evil thing I've ever heard of.
I can't.
We're going to shape all of humanity and mess with their minds so that this one person can just walk around free.
Who was an entity. It's not like
they're not even from
a
Earth.
being that had their individuality moral code taken away so that they could be evil. Like it literally is an entity that was created to destroy the universe.
Mm-hmm.
Like that was its sole purpose. So there's no saving it. Like that's so weird. So we're going to erase people's memories so that it can walk around freely and do whatever it wants.
And
but
what also doesn't make any fucking sense, and this will be very confusing to you, Eric, I'm sorry. We'll go over it in Saga in review. That Majin Buu doesn't exist like naturally. That Majin Buu exists because it was an absorption of another being. So how come Kai Bito doesn't give a fuck about getting the old Supreme Kai and all the other Kais back?
That's a really good
Why
point.
doesn't he talk about, if they're going to add all this backstory, what the fuck?
Didn't they already do that? And that's why Kid Buu formed in the first place?
I don't know.
So how does Majin Buu even exist?
I don't know. The whole thing is so confusing when you're trying to really like lay it down. So instead, yes, they use the Dragon Pulse. They erase everybody's memories that Majin Buu was a thing because they know how to spend their infinite eternal wishes in the show. It's on bullshit plot stuff so that they can get to fun stuff like Majin Buu discovering what money means.
Yeah. So Majin Buu, we cut to Majin Buu walking around 6 months later, just in town, just by himself, just having the time of his life. He sees a little girl with ice cream and he like tries to take it and she's like, nah, it's my ice cream. And he's like, well, where do I get ice cream? And then she points his way to an ice cream shop. During this whole exchange, there's like a hot dog guy who maybe was my favorite character. Like this background actor was just doing his best. Mm-hmm. He was going all out. He was like, get your hot dogs here. We got mustard. We got barbecue sauce. It's the best. And it's a 30-second monologue about buying hot dogs. It's the best
part of the episode.
It is. We watched it 3 hours ago and I want hot dogs in this moment because of that.
Yeah. So Boo goes in to Baskin Robbins and he orders his 14 flavor cones and the dude's like, hey, where's the money? And Boo's like,
what's money?
No, I got the ice cream. We're good. Yeah. And so he gets mad and then he remembers Hercule saying, hey, don't get mad no matter what. And so Boo shows some restraint and he's like, okay, I'll go get money. So he walks along the street and he's like, money, ice cream, money, ice cream. And then he finds the street fight going on with this fighting champion, and anybody that beats him gets 10,000 zenny. And I don't know how much money that is, but it's enough for ice cream. So Boo fights him and easily wins the money and goes and gets ice cream. This whole time, it didn't even occur to me until around now, but like Boo has a beam of light that he shoots from his head that can turn anything into anything. So he could just get a big old pile of trash and turn that shit into ice cream. Because that's what he did to humans. So why doesn't he do that? Boo gets his ice cream, he eats it, he runs into Bulma, who's carrying home groceries, and Bulma makes Boo carry groceries. They end up at a jewelry store. Bulma's really excited about all the jewelry she can buy because she's filthy rich. The jewelry store gets robbed, and I didn't notice it first, but you guys were very quick to point out that the robbers are, in fact, the Kung Fu champ and the manager of that guy that Boo fought in the street. I guess that Boo took all their money. So now within 2 hours, they decided to get guns, become robbers, and shoot Boo. Like they were okay with murdering.
Yeah.
Luckily, Boo is immune to bullets, obviously. And then Saiyaman and Saiyagirl show up, who are Videl and Gohan in superhero costumes, which was my favorite little cameo.
Yeah, it was cute.
It was a nice little callback. And it's cool that Videl encourages her man's hobbies.
Yeah, I was surprised that was the only bit of Seiya Girls or Seiya Woman, I think she's called, that we got.
Like in the entire show. Yeah.
Does she show up in a movie? Is there more of her in a movie or a TV
I don't know.
special or
Maybe she does. We haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, because she's like
movies so
in all the
she
games.
does, but like she's in video games.
Yeah,
and stuff.
she's got shit. I saw it. I expected more, but that was it. She just shows up for a second, and I mean, really cool character designs when they change outfits and stuff. Bulma, you can shop him for clothes, looking great. Art wise, it's not the best, but it's like they thought about it.
Yeah, it's weird, right? I didn't think about it, but they like change them a little bit because this is 6 months later, and we're just about. Well, we get one more episode in this timeline, and then we fast forward like a whole decade. So there's a lot of different character designs in these next couple episodes. Anyway, then we cut to Goku's house where he's bathing with Goten and Trunks. The scene is almost cute. If they weren't bathing and they were like playing tag in the front yard or something a little bit more normal, well, normal to American culture. I shouldn't try to make my mind everybody's mind, but they're bathing in a thing and they're playing and splashing around. Trunks and Goten are naked and they jump out of the bath and do the fusion dance and then attack Goku. And then Goku goes Super Saiyan and he's also naked, and Chi-Chi yells at him for being naked, and they all laugh, and Vegeta's there watching him from behind a tree for some reason.
That's where a Super Saiyan 6 inches comes from.
I think it could have been a really cute little scene. The family was spending time together, but they added nudity and it made it weird for me.
It's both cute and also there's a good word for this that I'm not thinking of here. Inappropriate.
That's the word you couldn't think of.
Yeah, it was. Yes. That
doesn't exist in my vocabulary.
What does that mean?
It was both cute because you know what they're going for. They're just like hanging out, doing the hot bath in a barrel thing that they do.
Yeah.
Because they like making Saiyan soup outside or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you know, when I was young, I swam with my dad and we'd splashed and played with the ball and stuff, but like we weren't naked. That's where
that's the component, weird. That makes it strange. Is a grown ass man, 40 whatever year old man, 37 to 45, in the weird small barrel, cramped little space with two boys who are 7 and 8. And then they wrestle naked.
Yeah, well, and on top of that, one of them's his son, but the other one's not, right?
The other one's not his son. And like, if Vegeta wasn't right there, it would be extra weird.
Maybe it's normal in Japan or something.
That's what I want to chalk it up to, like a culture, differences in culture. And maybe this is a thing that we just don't have.
It totally is, because when you take a bath in one of those locations, then you get naked. Like, it's just required. There's no shame involved. You just strip down and there's no judgment.
Like outside of America, they have like public baths.
Sure,
stuff,
but are
right?
people wrestling in those baths? Like
but they're kids. Like it's kids playing with their uncle, dad, whatever.
Yeah, it's a combination of different factors that to us, to our American sensibilities, make it extra weird.
Yeah.
But at least we can see like what they were going for.
Yeah. Like if there wasn't that culture barrier, then maybe that would have come off as completely cute and fine and fun.
If it was written by Americans with American animation, I can see what that scene would be. And it's fun.
Yeah, you just put them in swimsuits.
Yeah, that's all. And that's probably what they did on TV when they aired this episode. They probably airbrushed some swim trunks on them. Probably.
Yep, they usually do something like that. Anyway, so that the episode actually ends there, kind of anticlimactically.
Yep.
Which brings us into episode 288. The Japanese title is "You're Late, Goku. Everyone Party." The American title is "He's Always Late."
My episode title is "Hey, just what I wanted at the end." Filler.
It's oh man, I remember loving this episode as a kid, dude. I don't know what changed, but like.
Well, our perception of Goku has changed.
Yeah.
And like what good TV is. It's like, this
was before Breaking Bad, okay?
Yeah, that's true. This is pre-Heroes.
Man, season 1 of that show was so good.
It was so good. Save the Cheerleader, Save the World. Just phenomenal.
Man. Yeah.
But this is the worst episode of Dragon Ball Z I've ever seen.
Worse than the New Year's special?
Episode.
I guess that was over in like 5 minutes, but
oh yeah, that's true. I wouldn't consider that an episode. That one was just confusing.
Yeah, you're right. It was in Japanese.
Yeah,
that's the sense of it.
But at least we got the KFC party bucket out of this.
Oh my gosh.
Out of
that's forever worth it.
So this episode starts in Goku's house with Chi-Chi getting dressed for a party. Gohan has on a weird blue suit. Chi-Chi comes out dressed in like a pink shirt and totally like she looks like a totally different character.
Well, it's because her hair is different. And I've said this before, but like really, the anime people hair, it's basically a facial feature is your hairstyle. So her coming out with different hair is like she's a different person now.
They're taking off for a party. They're like, Goku, he's not here. Where is he? Oh, he's off doing some shit. We cut to Goku and he's dressed in a three-piece suit and he's standing in front of a nest. And the nest used to have 4 eggs. Now it has 3. He finds the missing egg. It has fallen off of this little cliff onto a branch about 30 feet below. And he's like, I'll just put the egg in the nest. And he goes to do just that. And then he's attacked by pterodactyls because this is a pterodactyl nest and they want him to leave their egg alone. And so Goku decides to spend the day defending this egg so that they can hatch. He gets into all sorts of crazy antics.
Oh my God.
Doing that.
Yeah.
He beats up a giant snake. He moves some dinosaurs to another area so they can keep fighting and not disturb the nest. He reinforces the nest with a very minimal understanding of physics.
Just a bunch of logs?
He does all kinds of stuff, but what he doesn't do is spend time with his family, who we're shown are partying at Capsule Corp. Krillin, 18, and their daughter Marin arrive, greeted by Kid Trunks, and Yamcha shows up a few seconds later as he crashes through the front door in a very cool-looking red hover car, which I really liked. Yamcha hasn't gotten a lot of scenes in his last, 50 episodes, and that one was, pure Yamcha. It was perfect. I love that he just bought a random car that was too much car for him to handle. And they party out in the Capsule Corp courtyard. You see everybody's there in neat little different outfits. You get Vegeta and Boo and Hercule. And I don't remember seeing Dr. Briefs. Maybe I was typing a note when he showed up, but that was kind of a shame to me. I wanted him to give couple more lines. You got these robot maids delivering food everywhere. The best part was probably Piccolo laying in the grass and just being all zen.
That was just a little weird. Piccolo is a different character.
I love when they show Piccolo when he's out of character. You know what I mean? He keeps so much to himself and he doesn't have a lot of characterization that it's fun to see him laying in grass enjoying himself, or with the kitty cell phone that he had in superhero movie.
Well, I think the reason that Piccolo does these things now is because Vegeta has taken what his character is.
Yeah.
So the spot that was previously Piccolo has now been filled by Vegeta. We can't have two characters. So now Piccolo has to be wacky because
he's got a little bit of wackiness to his character, but he's had that coming for a while. He had the driver's license episode in particular was fundamental in that new characterization.
He wasn't that wacky.
I know part of the fun is because he's in a wacky situation as a serious character, but it's still wacky enough that it influenced him moving forward.
You know what? You could say that he's just evolving with the world. He's just getting used to accustomed to existing in this universe, and he's just flowing with it.
That's
now.
Fair.
He's becoming more zen. So maybe it's that. Maybe that's the character growth.
Yeah.
Nothing that his character's ever done in the past has ever told me he was going to move and flow with the rest of these assholes. Which, speaking of moving and flowing, they have an epileptic ass dance party, which is God. Takes so long.
It was Eric's favorite scene.
Yeah. How'd you feel about the dance party, Eric?
It's weird. Did you guys have some toy growing up that had these goggles and you could put different film colors over it, like a blue?
Oh yeah,
the
viewfinder.
Yeah,
thing.
it's like that. It's like watching the show through that, because every once in a while it's just now it's red, now it's blue, now it's yellow, and weirdly paced. I don't know. It was off-putting to say the least.
Well, nothing's happening. No, they're not having conversations. It literally is just a tiny little anime music video.
Yeah, but no one's dancing.
They're oh God. Okay, so they didn't animate it. Really, everyone has 3 frames of animation. It's a terrible GIF.
Yes,
every single character. It's the Peanuts dance. Every single character is doing the Peanuts dance.
It is. That's exactly what it reminded me of.
So stupid that they didn't spend more time on it if they were going to spend this much time on it. And then into the dance, it's Gohan and Videl. They're trying to show through their Peanuts ass dance. Gohan and Videl are getting they're kind of getting groovy together. They're dancing.
They're getting close. And in a weird, out of character moment for me, because why would she interrupt this moment? Because it's her precious son gonna get married. Chi-Chi's Gohan, go away. I'll show you how it's done.
And then she fight dances, but it's really poorly
weird.
animated. And then like everybody in the crowd is like, wow, what an awesome dance. And we as the audience are just like, what is happening?
That's the best part is in the English. It doesn't, not so much in the Japanese, but like Kid Trunks says to Goten, like, wow, Goten, your mom's as cool as your outfit. And Goten's outfit is anything but cool.
Yeah. So at least in English, they're making fun of how dumb this moment is.
Yeah.
It did feel like an Elaine Bennis type dance. Like I was watching it. Like,
it really did. Yeah.
This is odd. I don't like this, but then
I just don't like, what are we supposed to feel in this moment? It's supposed to be like a victory lap for the whole show. There's no more villain. It's like, but it doesn't, I don't.
Well, this whole episode, right, is a celebration of the gang after defeating Majin Buu, but Goku's not there.
It should be, but it's actually in secret a celebration of Goku.
That's really what, and that's what we need to talk about right now. We've gotten to this point where we get to talk about my favorite, least favorite part of the show, Goku. And now I'm done. Next episode.
Cool. Well, no, like that's it. Like they dance and then it cuts to some more Goku stuff. And then it cuts to the end of the day. Krillin and 18 are about to leave. They're like, hey, we got to go. You know, we got a little kid. Goku busts through the door. He's all dirty and stuff. And he's like, oh, cool. You finally arrived as soon as everybody's ready to leave. Good job, Goku. Chi-Chi yells. Now let's go get some dinner. Like it's a perfect encapsulation of their relationship. And it's kind of showing the cracks more than a little bit. It's kind of uncomfortable.
It's really uncomfortable because the entire gang...
there's like a line, like one line where you could say like, oh, that's just the English dub or whatever. But like, it's more than a little uncomfortable. She even says like, when you were dead, you had an excuse, but you can't be late for stuff like this anymore. Like it's shoving things in Goku's face that shouldn't be shoved in his face. And Goku, you know, if Vegeta can be on time for shit like this, then Goku's definitely causing problems for no reason.
And like the hand wave is that, well, you know, you were protecting some eggs. You could, that's fine.
Yeah,
so it was worth you not showing up so you could protect some eggs. Let's talk about these eggs, okay? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why is Goku protecting these eggs? How come Goku gets
I don't know.
To be
They
God?
were never mentioned before. And Goku, the last part of the episode is Goku telling the story of, it's weird because we've been with him the whole time. It goes A story, B story. A story is Goku and eggs. B story is Capsule Corp Party.
Yes, yeah.
And then this last moment, it chooses to make the hatching of the eggs, which is like the whole climax of this episode, apparently, that we're supposed to be invested in, a flashback that Goku tells the story of while he's eating dinner. So my question is, because there's a flashback of Goku hanging out with his grandpa Gohan, like a callback to the original Dragon Ball,
right?
Which I think is appropriate for a victory lap of the, like Dragon Ball Z. You got two series out of this, Dragon Ball Z, and you're at the end of Dragon Ball Z. Why not look back to the very beginning? I think that's a good choice. But I think the problem is, there's no reason for the flashback in the moment. Goku just randomly does it. And you're showing how stupid Goku is for ignoring his friends and family to do this random task with this nest that we're not associated with. So I have two other versions of this episode that would make it infinitely better, and it would require minimal tweaks. Version A is the whole thing is just a flashback whenever we go to A story with Goku and the eggs. It's just Goku telling the story to Goten or something at the Capsule Corp party. Very minimal changes, but Goku becomes a much better father. And he's just telling the story of like when he was a little kid with his grandpa Gohan and going off on his own and finding these eggs and protecting the eggs and seeing them hatch. How cool it is. Because there's no relevance for this taking place in the present day. Doesn't matter. B is Goku actually goes to the party and it's Gohan that is watching the eggs. And the eggs are his dragon Icarus's.
Oh, so something to actually give us some sort of like emotional draw to what's fucking
because
happening.
we've been connected to Icarus the dragon on a few occasions when Gohan was growing up, and now he's all grown with a, you know, soon to be wife of his own. And so he's still looking out for his friend. He's flying to the party. Holy shit, is that Icarus? Oh, fly down. Oh, no, your egg, buddy.
And you know what? Let's make it better. Videl could be with Gohan, and they both sit there and they see these eggs hatching, and then this is like a future...
And that's how they decide to like get married or something.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Yeah.
That's so much better. And that took you 4 minutes to think of.
Yeah.
Well, like, it's...
I think this could have been a really successful episode if you had tweaked it one way or the other.
Yes.
As is, it does not work for me.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting different vibes from from this episode. On the one hand, it's showing Goku being this hero, not only looking at the eggs, but the way people talk about him at the party, the way the episode ends is like, oh, Goku's great.
There's like a huge narration of like Goku is the best.
Yeah, exactly.
And,
like it's this huge hard on for Goku. But on on the other hand, you're actively showing Goku doing shitty things, and you have written in lines talking about him doing those shitty things. Like you have his family complaining about him, and he's not there, and he's not doing this, and he doesn't have excuses, and he's actively avoiding his friends. And even Goku references it. Like he talks about, I'm going to be in trouble for not being with my family again, but I'm going to choose to stay here with these pterodactyl eggs.
Yeah, and he
anyway.
says it almost like he knows that he's skirting the responsibility of being with his family, but he's okay with doing it. Like he doesn't care that much. He cares more about being in trouble than he cares about being with the family and friends that he has.
Exactly. And it's me as a viewer, I don't know how to feel about this. Is Goku bad and it's a bad decision, or is Goku good and a good decision? Because it's giving me mixed messages throughout the whole show. And and that's unfortunately where kind of how it is resolved. It's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like the whole conclusion is like Goku's bad, but he gets a pass.
Yeah.
And
that's what it is.
That makes him seem even worse. When Goku winks at the camera, it's almost like, oh, I got away with it.
Fooled him again.
It doesn't feel like, oh man, this is a really good guy, you know?
No. And I know he was never meant to be a good guy. I know the English words changed.
If you're gonna make an episode about how Goku cares about random eggs and stuff, like you got to make him likable. And
if he's not meant to be a good guy, don't add a freaking voiceover over the end telling us how great a guy
about how he's number one.
He's number one,
both in Japanese and English. That's not just an English Japanese.
I don't want to say that I'm trying to excuse it by saying he was never meant to be a hero. What I'm saying is Toriyama cannot stop jerking it to him.
Yeah,
he can't.
Toriyama thinks he's a hero.
Toriyama thinks he's the fucking best, and there is no better example of that than this episode.
Yeah, this is where a lot of the illusions fall apart, and I hate to hate on it, but like, there's no excuses. He sucks. Goku sucks in this episode. There's a couple different ways to handle it that like resolves it, but the way that it's presented is just like, man, dude, you know, you're terrible.
Quick reminder: Vegeta was a bad guy, right?
Right.
Yeah. He almost destroyed the Earth.
And so at some point, Chi-Chi says, I want to trade. I'd rather have the dude who almost obliterated the Earth rather than Goku.
And they like make a joke where it'd be like, well, I want to upgrade.
Yeah.
And that's to say it's an upgrade to have Vegeta as your husband does not speak well of your current
kind of
husband.
nuts.
Because all he's doing is sitting in the background grunting the whole time. Like just a...
But at least he's there.
Right. He's fucking present, and that's all that you need. You just need the dad to be there.
He's got one up on Goku.
So sad. But that dude's cool. He's got a pass, guys. He's got a pass. You can
because he saves the world over and over. That's the Toriyama jerk off. Is he gets a pass on being a shitty friend and father and husband because he saves the world. That's so stupid to think about. But that's what this episode is.
There's a show that not many people have seen, and I hesitate to even bring it up because nobody's going to fucking care. So I'll keep it short, but it's called Kevin Can Fuck Himself. It was on AMC for a couple seasons. The premise is like half of the scenes are standard Everybody Loves Raymond style sitcom. The 4-camera, filmed in front of a live studio audience, classic All in the Family, whatever,
laugh track,
household.
Yeah.
Laugh track and everything, and like really brightly lit and stuff. And then whenever the main character, Kevin, is not in the room, his wife is the main character. And whenever it cuts to her point of view, it's like drama, like Breaking Bad,
moody.
1-camera style, moodily lit.
That's cool.
And it shows like, yeah, it's super cool. I don't think it's the greatest show ever, but like it gets a pretty big pass for the premise alone. And so you kind of see how fucked up it is when the sitcom, like typical big obnoxious main character guy isn't actually a good husband. And like the jokes that they're telling are really impactful. And the antics that they get into in a standard sitcom actually kind of fucking suck in real life. It frames the fantasy of a sitcom family through the lens of the real world. And it's like, oh yeah, this guy's a huge asshole. And that's what I feel like this Dragon Ball Z episode is.
That's
like
perfect.
He's the main character of his own story, so he gets a pass. But in the real world, Goku kind of sucks.
Yeah.
But again, we're not the audience.
Right.
Like the Kevin Can Fuck Himself show, I think we're kind of the main audience because we grew up with the sitcom, so we realize the duality of those two intercut storylines. Dragon Ball Z is just for the kids. So it's like fun to watch Goku take care of eggs and shit like that.
We're at the end of the show. And so I think we kind of need to, maybe we'll talk about it in the next episode or the following episode. We kind of need to talk about Toriyama and how he writes things. And I have a short summary for how I feel about Toriyama right now, which is that
I'm excited to hear this.
He writes like a kid does,
Mm-hmm.
but he has the sensibilities of an adult. And he doesn't know how to reconcile those two things. Sometimes it comes off amazing. And this show is some of the best media that I've ever experienced. And other times it comes off like a kid dealing with adult problems who has no world experience. And so it's like so fucking confusing sometimes.
It just sucks that like it starts to fall apart in a big way in these last few episodes.
Yeah. Because his writing is bonkers fucking insane. And I don't.
It's unique. It's wholly unique.
It is.
Which I really do admire.
It really is. But it's really fucking dumb sometimes.
Yeah. Did it fall apart in these last few episodes, or has it always been falling apart along the way?
I think that the peaks and valleys were further apart. So like you would get sections where you were like, oh, this is the greatest show ever. And they would last a long time. And then you'd hit dips and you'd like, this isn't really fun to watch. And it would last a long time. This is going up and down like episode to episode.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So
It's a concentrated version of itself.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the time it was written in, he had lightning in a bottle like 7 or 8 times throughout his story.
it's kind of amazing how often he was able to get across like almost like masterpiece for a cartoon level narratives.
And then this. But then also we have this,
And then,
though.
yes.
And so to figure that out is like, I can't. I don't know if anyone can. It's wholly unique. Hate it or love it, I feel grateful that I've been able to experience it, honestly.
It for sure is an experience.
Because it's that, yeah. It's just that.
So anyway, that brings us to a peak, actually, in this 5-episode chunk. For those that are still listening, episode 289. The Japanese title is Grandpa Goku, I Am Pan. The American title is Granddaughter Pan.
My episode title is A Start to the End.
Nice.
Yeah. I like this episode a lot. It was really fun.
It's like 8 out of 10.
Like this has the most notes of all of the episodes that we watched together. And I think it was the least amount of conversation that we had between us.
Yeah, we just sat and watched.
Because I was actually watching the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was really into it. It's 10 years later, but you don't quite know it's 10 years later until about 30 seconds in. There's a nice, mysterious like music track and a good wide shot as this Capsule Corp vehicle. Obviously, Capsule Corp vehicle flies high above a city. We see that it's piloted by a teenage Trunks in an outfit that we've never seen him before. So it's not the teenage Trunks that we know, but it is in fact the kid Trunks that we've been watching grown up. He decides, all right, I'm done with this thing. And he opens up the cockpit, presses a couple buttons on the exterior, and the ship shrinks into a capsule. It's a Capsule Corp spaceship. He puts it in his pocket and he flies away. And he's like, that's better. Stretching my legs. He arrives at a house. And it is actually Goku's house, but it is different. It's bigger. It seems larger and expanded.
It's almost a complex now.
Yeah, it really is. It was kind of cool. I did not remember any of this. Trunks arrives, and we only know it's Goku's house because he sees Chi-Chi doing laundry on the balcony. She looks much different as well, and he's looking for Goten. Trunks hears that Goten might be with. I actually am a little confused because Chi-Chi does say that he's training with Goku. But then Gohan might know how to get there or something. So Trunks goes to Gohan's house. Gohan's house, he finds it empty, which I thought was like, ooh, eerie. But it turns out Gohan's just on a ladder in his library getting a bunch of fucking books. Gohan has glasses now. He's grown up. And Trunks has heard from his father that Gohan is a huge nerd, which I thought was very funny. We see Videl, who is different. New haircut, new outfit, and bald Mr. Satan advertising the next Tenkaichi tournament, the World Martial Arts Tournament on TV. He's got a receding hairline, and I love future Mr. Satan. He looks fantastic. He is the definition, the visual definition of a champion out of his prime.
I want to talk about the picture, the wedding photo.
Yeah, this episode does some good show don't tell.
Yeah, they do a lot of the background imagery that really explains we've come a long way in the 10-year gap. Not just like because 10 years have passed, but they really show in the face of Chi-Chi, who is now like a grandmother who is just folding laundry, and she's smiling now, and her temperament is kindly. And in the face of Gohan, who is now a dad, and he's grown.
And the voice actors try their best to sound older.
Yeah, like this is a really well presented production of an episode. And I really just loved that there was the photo of Gohan and Videl and in their marriage gear. Clothes.
So it's a wedding photo, man. What the hell?
Yeah, it's just really nice. It's just really, really wholesome and nice. And I really loved that this episode cared. Like, you could tell that this episode cared about the story, about the show, about the characters. The previous episode cared about Goku. This one's about the show.
I remember this is where the arc that we started this episode started. So like while I remembered the filler episodes, they kind of like deleted themselves for the most part. I thought that when we sat down with Eric, this was going to be the first episode that we saw. I thought it was going to cut to 10 years later. So I thought it'd be a nice thing for him, but really it's 2 confusing episodes and then the epilogue, the start of this kind of self-contained story. Yeah.
Sorry about that, Eric.
Oh no, it's fine. It's like a little trilogy on the end.
Yeah. That I wish would have ended better. So the Tenkaichi tournament starts tomorrow and Goku and Goten are training out in like the South Fields or some made up place. Bulma and Vegeta show up and Bulma is looking like she's like, I don't want to sound mean, but like she's drawn. It looks like she's had a few too many Botox injections. Did anybody else get that vibe?
Goku calls her an auntie, and that's what she looks like. Is the worst description of an auntie that you can think of, with like her face is just longer. And realistically, that makes sense because she's now the head of a major corporation and her life is stress, stress, stress.
Yeah.
It would make sense that she would be like that. They spend a little bit of a lot of time on it, which I guess is inter-character, you know? It's Bulma from the beginning.
Holy shit. Does Vegeta look good?
Yeah, Vegeta looks amazing.
He's got a nice leather jacket.
He's just not giving a fuck.
So Goku talks to Vegeta about going to the tournament. Goku just can't wait to get those stadium hot dogs. Bulma, she's been called an auntie, so she's ripping grass out in the background, which I totally missed. I'm glad that John pointed it out.
So much fun.
It leads to a pretty funny gag. Goku mentions that there's going to be a new fighter there. Somebody very powerful, maybe the most powerful fighter on Earth. Vegeta's like, what the hell are you talking about? I can't sense. Goku's like, nah. He's hiding the energy, but I got it. I can feel it. He's going to be there. Which doesn't make any sense because how would he know that he's going to be anyway?
Vegeta should have at least been like, I thought I felt something, but he didn't.
That was like kind of.
What are you saying, Kakarot?
Yeah. So Trunks finally arrives. He finds who he's looking for, and after Bulma pulls grass off the ground out of frustration, she's got a handful of grass, and then there's like this just cutaway shot where she doesn't have any dialogue, and she like looks down at her hand, and her hand is full of grass, and she's just like, what the fuck? And then she just tosses it behind her shoulder. Mm-hmm. We find out that Goku made Goten cancel a date because Goten is now a teenager because the tournament was going to fall on the same day. Then we get an introduction to a brand new character, titular granddaughter Pan. She's like a female version of chubby Gohan
from the beginning of the series. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
And we find out that Goku is making his 4-year-old granddaughter compete in the tournament, even though there's no kids bracket this year. So she's just going to compete as an adult entry, I guess. And she's 4.
Is also forcing Goten to do it. And Vegeta then forces Trunks to do it. Like, all these people just want to live their lives. But the black hole of I love fighting Goku is just sucking everyone into this universe of punching, kicking, screaming.
He just wants to go on a date with a girl. And nope, you gotta follow the family bloodline and fight each other for no
environment. You haven't seen the other side like I have. The whole universe exists off of fighting Goten. You have to. So yeah, Pan is cute and adorable. I don't remember what she does. I think they all go to the tournament next, right? They all go and we get these really cute cutaways where Goku's just being a grandpa with Pan.
Fast forwards a little bit. A good part of an already good episode. You get to see a little montage of Goku hanging out with his granddaughter and like doing all this stuff that he should have done with his son.
This weird thing. Holy shit. Okay, I bet y'all remember this. So this kid, kind of like the mullet douchebag kids from a previous tournament, runs into Pan, who has a bunch of ice cream, knocks over Pan, and there's a moment where Pan gets all angry because the kid's being a dick and flips her off to her 4-year-old face, which was very funny. He does. He's like, can you read sign language? And flips her off.
So crazy.
Goku in the background is like, uh-oh, because she's starting to get angry and she's mad and you think she's going to like explode like Gohan used to. But instead, she just starts crying. Goku comes over and is like, it's okay. You don't have to cry, and takes her away. Out of nowhere, that kid that ran into Pan gets kidnapped
I think so.
by some huge lady.
Yeah, did the huge lady pop up like previously?
No,
I didn't.
and she
I
doesn't
don't
show up
remember seeing
again.
her.
So like,
Gone, yeah.
my note is, I think we just witnessed a child kidnapping.
she's like, "You're mine," and then like
and then
vanishes.
he's gone.
Yeah,
Kingpin level sized lady.
Yes, huge, and she takes him, and he's gone. Like, it's so bizarre, and I don't know. If
and then it just cuts to Pan eating an ice cream cone.
yeah,
With the
and
word
we
cake
forget all
stamped
about
on it.
him because
Never
it never
They're
comes
so
up
happy.
again.
Yeah.
Like, I really think we witnessed a kidnapping, and the show just like thinks that's funny, but it's like, what?
He's fighting in his own underground tournament with other kids to the death.
Yeah.
For a scrap of bread. Yeah, that's the C plot that they don't get into. That was
So-
their backup.
Then we see dapper Krillin wearing a white suit and white fedora. He's with the other half of the gang, Piccolo and Dende and 18 and Master Roshi, whose glasses are insane. I don't think he has one line in these 5 episodes, but his character design is on point.
Yeah, he's got 90-year-old man glasses, which is like the solid visor glasses that blocks the sun because the sun's too hard on your old eyes now. He's got those.
We cut to Hercule for a bit. We see that like even his little Hercule Satan dolls have the receding hairline, which is great. John's favorite shot in all these episodes is showing B as a grown-up dog,
I love
like an
that.
old dog now.
Yeah.
So good. Goku and Pan show up to greet Hercule. Hercule is also a good grandpa. Pan's got some good grandparents. Like, despite everything else we have to say
They're
about
like
these characters.
Disneyland grandparents.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, that's true. I don't know if good is the right word, but fun is
Yeah, I mean, he
accurate.
did sign her up for this tournament.
Hey, I mean, she does pretty well. I will say it doesn't seem right.
What if
but
in the tournament Goku drew her name and they had to fight each other?
Well, we'll get to why that doesn't happen because Goku's a little fuck man.
Oh, that's true. They're like, oh, the Goku crew is here, but they don't have anywhere to sit. All the seats are taken at the world tournament. And Hercule's like, no, I got this covered. And so they seat them all out in the grass, but then they're all embarrassed. All the ancillary characters get moved up to
They
this
instead get a
observation
box.
deck to
Yeah,
look out.
that was
I thought it was
weird.
going to be like a funny one-off joke, and then they actually moved everybody to a different location. I'm like, well, then why did you
Why
do
waste the
that?
time in the first place?
Yeah, exactly.
It was like we're going in a pretty straight line, and then suddenly, oh, left, oh God, left, and then what? No, back on track. Just
and then
for
we
like
see
2 minutes.
the
but
little girl, Bulma's daughter, who isn't introduced at all, but has like 2 voice lines. And we know,
yeah, Bulla.
yeah, from what little knowledge of Dragon Ball GT I have, her name is Bola. She's adorable, but doesn't have any character at all.
Marin is kind of grown up. The Krillin's daughter, Marin.
Yeah,
has 1 or
who
2
also
voice
doesn't have any lines.
I think she's like one thing.
Android 18 has a new hairstyle and a new outfit, and Marin's a little bit grown up. Like, all the characters are aged up really well,
Yeah.
and they all have new designs and stuff, but there's no time. There was no focus.
No, listen. Goku. Okay. So
I thought you were going to say Goku has a new design, which he does. He's wearing a new
but
outfit.
Goku is here. Like, there's no time for anybody else because Goku exists. So
He's the focus.
yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, we see a bunch of people enter the arena, all the other fighters of the tournament.
Best shot of the episode.
It is pretty cool seeing all these weirdos.
We don't know who they are. We just get the look at them. But there's some weird ass motherfuckers that Toriyama has drawn for this.
He got so carried away in these last couple episodes. It's amazing. I love it. And they're keeping track of the tournament and the contestants through Eric's favorite device.
A generic whiteboard. Just a regular ass standard whiteboard.
Like 3/4 of the stadium can't even see the front of it, let alone the one quarter that's facing it that can't read it because it's so small. That's where the episode ends, right?
Yeah, but now I'm going to go to the bathroom.
Okay. John doesn't need to be here for this. So, which brings us to episode 200. It's time for a mid-roll shout-out. A mid-roll shout-out. Thank you, Eric, for those backing vocals. It's beautiful. This is the point of the podcast where we thank our patrons, some of them, most of them, for contributing to this podcast and making it possible and making it fun for us, letting us know that we're just not talking to empty cyberspace. So those wonderful patrons are in no particular order, although I think John has sorted this by contribution. Well, I'm not, you can cut that. In no particular order, those patrons are Dalton Plunkett, MJ Steiner, The Fish, Tyler Hyatt, Dr. Briefs, Oh, Noe Zoe, Andrew, Wyndon, Erwin, Dan, and Eric White. Thank you all so much. Your contributions really do mean a lot to us. I'm sorry that I can't go on a goddamn 5-minute individualized thank you montage that John did last time and really show me up as a creator and contributor to this podcast. But I like you all, and hopefully someday, if I haven't already, I'll let you know how much you guys mean to me, because it's a lot. But anything I do is just going to be compared to what John did. So everything's going to be inferior.
Wait,
so
sorry, what?
Why even try?
You
Why
can't
even
live
try?
up to John.
What the what is happening? What? I just got back. What's happening right now?
I finished the mid-roll shout out.
Oh, what? I heard my name and something about inferiority, and I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, I was making.
You'll find out.
Oh, that's true. Maybe we should just wait until you edit it.
Yeah.
All right. So for real, that brings us to episode 290. The Japanese title is "I Am Oob," now 10 years old, the former Majin. The American title is "Boo's Reincarnation."
My episode title is, the previous one was a start to the end. This one is a stretch to the end.
Ooh,
Loving
clever.
it.
That's
John's
clever.
titles are probably better than the show's titles, and not probably they are.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Not every time.
Not every
They're
time.
nothing but winners that I've heard.
So yeah, we get to see more of the fighters all ready to go, ready to enter the tournament. There's a chicken man.
Captain Chicken.
His name is Captain Chicken, but we don't find out until halfway through this episode. We kept trying to name him.
Yeah.
I like Rooster Man. Chicken Man was also a popular one amongst our group, and then we find out his real name is Captain Chicken. He's like an actual chicken-based superhero, which I don't understand.
Chicken-based
but
life
it is
form.
a thing.
Why not?
Then there's the hot one named Norig, I think, which is just, I think I wrote down that name because it's obscene.
A totally different name in Japanese. I can't remember what the subtitles say, but it's not Norig.
Yeah, I don't remember either. Then there's Tiger King Daddy Man. What's his name?
I thought I wrote it down. Wild
Tiger. He's just a big giant man who is angry all the time. Then there's the other man one, long hair.
He looks like
teenage.
a Dragon Age, or not a Dragon Age, a Dragon Quest character.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean,
because Akira Toriyama does character designs for both, but this really looks like a Dragon Quest character.
and then there's the gay one, and that's the only way that we can describe it because he looks
That's
like
not the only
the
way.
caricature of a '90s Freddie Mercury gay man.
Yeah, he's a shirtless Freddie Mercury leather daddy.
That's it.
But he's got
Uh-huh.
like a police hat on, doesn't he, or something? Or
yeah.
with a
Well, that's
skull on
part
it
of the
and-
leather daddy kind of persona.
Yeah, so that's what he is, and it's just a kid. It's a '90s caricature. I don't know that this is the first time I've seen that in anime, but I know for a fucking fact it's not the last.
Anime, despite preconceived notions, has a lot of variance in its audiences, right? And I feel like Dragon Ball Z skews younger, so it's weird to see this kind of mega stereotype in a younger skewing.
Is it?
I don't know. Maybe
it's played
not.
for the joke. There's one joke, and that's his whole purpose.
Yeah, that's
All right. That's fair. You can delete me trying to sound smart.
well, I mean, you can always keep that in. That's fun.
No, we'll do both. I'll delete half of you trying to sound smart so that you just sound. I think that's all of the other. Oh, and there's one kind of important one, which is the young man from a small village on an island who just wants to fight for food for his family.
Oob.
Yeah.
Named Oob.
We find out his name is Oob. So he's a dark-skinned guy, about 12 years old, maybe. And he is
10, but it's fine.
whatever. You're right. He's 10. And he's the inverse design-wise of Kid Buu. Because if you couldn't tell from the name Oob, he's supposed to be the reincarnation of Kid
This fighter
Buu,
that Goku was
basically.
talking about with Vegeta a minute ago.
Is remember way back when, last podcast episode where Goku said, "Hey, I hope you come back someday." Apparently that was a promise, and King Yama granted the promise. And so the soul of Kid Buu went back into this random dude in a random village, and Oob is Kid Buu, but he's humbled and a nice guy now.
I don't get it.
I don't get why this was the epilogue. I don't understand why Toriyama looked at all of the plot lines that he had created and said, this one-off line from Goku is what I'm going to base the last 3 episodes on. That's the focal point. There's so much better material to make an epilogue of Dragon Ball Z from.
I get it. I don't understand a lot of the show. I don't have the historical knowledge, but like, one, this dude is really bad and was designed to destroy the world, right? So,
Yeah.
I mean, probably not great to bring him back. But two, Goku just defeated him. Like
10 years
well,
ago.
I mean, yeah. But like at the end, when he makes this wish, like, I want you to come back or whatever.
Oh,
why?
I see.
You
Yeah.
beat him. Like, why do you need to check it off again that you beat him?
You know what? That's a good fucking point, actually. Usually Goku just wants to beat somebody because he wants to fight
exactly.
him. Like if he fights
He's
and
already
wins,
done it.
then
Like, what's the point?
of-
Plus, on top of that, you still have Boo. Like, he's still there at the end of all that. So you have the character already, and now you've got another version of the character that you didn't need in the first place. It's like layers of what the hell?
And you introduce him in the last 3 episodes.
Yeah.
Like, why do we care? We've had 280 something of several characters that you could focus on. Like, why introduce a new one just to loop it back around to like this desire to fight somebody he's already been victorious over?
What bothers me personally is he's just doing it again. And when I say that, I mean Toriyama's just trying to begin the idea of passing the torch to another generation again.
He's already done it twice.
And he's fumbled it both times, and I'm done.
He tried to hand it off
And how
to
many kids are in the show? Like,
Yeah, exactly. He's tried to do it to Gohan, and then Gohan grew up and it didn't really work out. And then he tries to do it to Goten, and that barely even got any limelight at all.
And people like love this epilogue. Like, people love that this is the ending to the show. And like, okay, for what it is, I think it's fine. And I think it works as an epilogue.
No, it doesn't.
I think it does.
No, it does
No,
not.
hang on. Let me qualify this. As far as Dragon Ball Z is concerned, it's as good as we could ever ask to get.
I had higher hopes for this.
At this point,
and it wasn't even like, let me write you a better. Like, no, I don't fucking care what it is. Just focus on the characters that we've grown to know over the last decade of these episodes, and keep it at that. Don't take the focus away from all these cool people that we've grown to know and show them 10 years later and not tell us where they are. Just shift focus to a new guy and say, hey, guy, I'm running with you. And then we're going to end the show.
it just feels like he was worried about the setup of the next thing more than the end of this thing.
Yeah.
So,
which I don't think, does Oob make an appearance?
does it go anywhere?
No.
Like, does it mean
I
anything?
assume the GT is the next.
GT is the next thing, but that's not even
like chronologically.
Toriyama didn't even have that in his head, though. Like, he was done.
No, he didn't. He wasn't. He wasn't involved in that one.
Right.
They actually gave it to another.
Then why set all this up? Why not wrap your stuff
I
up
don't
with
know.
like, I don't. Yeah, I'm with Spencer on this one. Like, it doesn't
Like,
make sense. to me.
Yeah, I don't know, because usually an epilogue in a normal story, we follow with the characters that we know and how their lives have changed and how they're living and moving on. And we get a little bit of that, but like, it's just like a sprinkle, just like a taste.
It's not enough for 3-ish episodes worth of content.
Right.
Like for an entire hour of stuff, there's very, very little given to characters that aren't Goku and
Well, and
Yeah.
the weird thing is you focus on characters that you just introduced, like Pan as well. Like this, you bring.
yeah. Well, and like the tournament, like why Chicken Man? Why Gay Man? Like, why isn't it just like, oh man, we sure did smash those qualifiers, and it's all of the Z fighters. It's all of the characters that we've grown to love, and they're all in this tournament together now.
Here's what I think it is. And I think this happens a shitload in the show. And we can only guess because we don't know. But when it appears in the manga, because this is a translation from comic to television show,
Sure.
it is so much better presented. And when you have to translate that to a television
Wait, are you
program-
saying that with confidence, or have you not read the
Like,
manga?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. I have no idea. We can only guess because we don't read the manga. So my guess is that this epilogue in the manga is really nice. It's like self-contained. The whatever Gay Man, Chicken Man, they have like one panel and then you just like glance at it and move on. But when you have a television show, you have to linger on this stuff. And like, that sucks. And so I think this is a translation from page to screen problem. I want to say is better in the manga, because this that we just watched,
It was fumbled for sure. Yeah.
it was definitely a fumbly experience. And so I hope that in the manga form, it's like perfect and it's the wrap up that you want.
I would hope
It's
so
the
too.
cherry.
That would
That
be
would be nice.
nice.
But like, I feel like there's more going on here because it feels like their focus isn't on the show that they are ending.
Right. It seems like they're starting a new show.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
know how they're doing other stuff, but you're not focusing on your characters. You're not like wrapping things up. It just feels like there's something else that's driving this forward. And if it's the next thing or it's trying to nail an ending that's in the manga that people will like, but it's not about the characters that you've spent 290 something episodes building.
This is a terrible example, but I think it'll work. It would be like the end of Star Trek, the first 3 seasons in the 60s, ending with, and I know it was canceled, but if the last few episodes of that were like all about Picard and a young Picard going to Starfleet, and like Riker was there for some reason, and it was like, get ready, we're gonna drop Kirk and Bones and Spock, and it's gonna be these guys. Like, you would feel a little bit cheated.
Yeah.
Because you watched 3 seasons of these guys and you want to see them ending.
Mhm.
It's like, if you're going to do a new show, just start the new show. Introduce the characters there. Use the stupid flashbacks that Dragon Ball Z is famous for. Like, start the next generation, like Star Trek: The Next Generation, where it just fast forwards a little bit, and that, you know, give the show to the show.
But the guy who's writing this has a serious obsession with his main character. And he thinks as long as the main character is driving what's happening, people will be on board. And he's probably not wrong, because people fucking love Goku. But after going through the whole series, being the audience member that I am with the bias that I have, this did not fucking land for me because I don't like Goku. Just like the Tree of Might movie that we watched, right? If you like Turles, you like that movie. Remember the darker skinned Goku? It's just Goku again.
You call him Turles?
Yeah, it's Turles.
Like Turlet?
Kind of. Yeah. I don't know. It doesn't matter. But if you like that character, then you like that movie. If you don't, then you hate that movie. That's about it. That's how this ending is for me. If you like Goku, you'll like the ending. If you don't, it's stupid. And I feel like I don't like him, so it's stupid. And I feel like that's where we're all at. We all don't like Goku.
I don't. Yeah.
And
yeah.
still this-
I won't disagree. I'm not like a Goku hater, but like, there are problems with his character. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just that the show is painting him differently than he actually is. You know what I mean?
All the time.
Like Goku as a character doesn't bother me, but don't paint him as like a superhero.
Yeah, it's
like show him as he actually is and have characters react to how he actually is.
But this totally is an ending that's a Goku can do no wrong, and here we go, like go off into the sunset for this character.
Though, okay, we have a little bit of something with Pan in this episode specifically. So they pick who they're fighting in this episode, and Goku cheats and changes the numbers. He uses Majin Buu's fucking
he has
magic.
he has Majin Buu's magic to change the balls.
Majin Buu's magic finger point, because you know what? Fuck it. Like, any character can do anything at any time because Toriyama says so. So who fucking cares what happens next? So Majin Buu changes the numbers so that the first 2 people fighting are Pan, who during the like preliminary, they're all hanging out in the ring thing, accidentally bumps into Tiger King Man. Tiger King Man gets mad that a child is fighting. Well, of course, they fight first and she beats the shit out of him, which is cute. This little setup payoff thing. I appreciated that.
Yeah.
They cared.
Yeah,
they cared there.
good.
That was nice. And then Goku fights Oob. That's what happens next.
Well, they start the fight,
They begin the fight, and Oob is super nervous.
I want to talk about the other characters because they exist in these episodes, even though they're not the focus.
Let's do that. Like, they're hardly there.
Well, they're literally just, there's a couple things. Like, Vegeta draws his opponent, and he's like, "Screw this guy."
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
And he just blasts him
before the tournament.
His opponent goes flying before the tournament even starts, and he's just like, "My opponent forfeits," and then Vegeta wins. That's great. That's
phenomenal
really cool.
Vegeta situation.
I like the scene of Videl and Gohan prepping Pan for her first fight, even though I think it's irresponsible of them as parents to allow this. Seeing the outcome, I can't really blame that. And when Pan's opponent is slammed into the wall, they make a hard cut to this like dude in the stands pouring out orange soda, but like the way that it's edited, it looks exactly like Wild
blood.
Tiger just pouring out blood.
Yeah.
It's kind of fantastic. That's pretty funny.
Pretty good. I do want to say Videl's character is non-existent in in these episodes.
I know that you say that because you like Videl, but like nobody's character is existent in these episodes. Like
at least the Vegeta
even
thing
Krillin,
is
who has been around from the beginning, by that I mean Dragon Ball.
You know what?
He has like 2 lines.
I gotta.
That's
I
kind
gotta
of
give you that.
unfair.
Well, there's a little bit of almost like marital tension between Krillin and 18.
Him and 18, yeah, for sure.
And that was
that's
interesting,
which is
but
fine, but like it's not
Yeah.
developed or taken anywhere. He doesn't get. I think he gets like 1 line. He talks to Goku,
yeah,
but like they don't have any like, hey, we're best friends and we've been through all this shit together. Like, I'm not saying that Krillin should get the focus, but like that sort of thing should be what you're focusing on in a
but
finale
it's not.
of
Yeah,
a show that's ran 9 seasons after another show that ran X number of seasons about
right.
Goku
Yeah.
and, his friends. Like Bulma and Krillin should have gotten more.
I don't like Krillin. It's well known that I hate Krillin, and the less he's on screen,
I know,
the better
and I'm not saying
it
that
is for
like
me.
I like him, so he should get more. I'm just saying like he has earned his place in the pantheon of these characters, and he should have gotten more in the epilogue.
Yeah,
but it's
that's what
focused on Goku.
I'm agreeing with you. I hate Krillin, but big fat but he totally deserves as a character, from a story perspective. He deserves better than what he got. It's almost he's owed more.
You got a white suit.
Yeah, he got a nice suit, but like give him like
I got nothing.
Goku, we're taking off after this tournament. I'm not going to fight anymore. I'm retiring. We're going to go raise a kid. 18's pregnant again. Like just give him something.
Yeah, he got as much as Yamcha did, who also was there in the beginning of the show. Bulma got some.
Yeah.
Bulma got more.
I actually liked what Yamcha got because he's been out of the show for a while, which is kind of a shame. But he got the hover car scene, which is very, at least,
yeah,
memorable.
It could be said that the same thing happened to Krillin, where he was out of the show for the entire Boo arc.
Yeah.
And so that's why he's not getting anything. But it's like, that's just the classic Dragon Ball Z problem. They continue to introduce characters. They just constantly introduce new characters that Toriyama loves and then doesn't know what to do with the other characters. And so just kind of drops them and doesn't treat them with respect anymore because he doesn't care. Like, where the fuck is Tien? Who cares? Where's Dr. Briefs? Who cares?
Yeah, you're right. I mean, you see Tien in the Caps Court party before the time skip. That's the last time you see him, I think. I don't think he's in these episodes at all. Anyway, the World Tournament announcer explains that Oob is only in the tournament to buy food for his village. And somebody in the audience says, give that boy a hot dog. I can't remember how he delivers it. It's maybe the best delivery in all of Dragon Ball Z. And then you see a blimp, a Goodyear blimp with Mr. Satan's face on it. There's a cool shot as Goku and Oob line up to fight their round, where the blimp is driving over the stadium and the shadow goes over Oob, then continues like up the audience, which I thought was really neat. Oob is a very nervous fellow. He's just a little kid, doesn't want to fight in front of all these people. His first time being out in a huge social environment. And so Goku insults the shit out of him to get him to like get angry and channel, like kind of like Gohan when he was a kid. They charge each other, start fighting, and then the episode ends.
Yeah.
The end?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then there's one more
Right.
episode.
Right.
Like, I think that's, I don't have anything extra to say about it. It's
I just feel like it's a very interesting choice to have this show that you put so much time and effort in, and that is so full of so many characters that you're like, you know what? Episode right before the end, I'm going to introduce like 7 tournament people, and we're going to spend even if it's a scene for each one, you're like burning so much time for nobodies.
Yeah, it's coming to an end. It should have been exactly the same setup, but all of our characters, all the Z fighters, Tien, Yamcha, Krillin, 18, and then just like a montage of them having the time of their life fighting each other in the World Martial Arts Tournament, and they move up through the ranks. And then there's a final showdown between like Vegeta and Goku or something like that is the last episode.
I don't know if you guys have seen the Rocky movies, but like the Rocky photo finish where him and Apollo Creed, like it ends the show there. Like,
Ooh, that would be really cool if the last shot of the show was Vegeta and Goku like punching each other in like the semifinals of the tournament or something, and we don't really get
the last shot that they
a
have
total
in Super,
ending.
I think.
That's great. That's a cool
because like that's what
idea.
it's about, right? It's about these characters and how far they've come, and this is what drives them.
No,
and
it's
they're-
about Goku,
and they're still
though.
doing- but you're right, it's about
But
Goku.
no, it's about Goku
and random
I don't know if you
kid
knew
that
this.
we just learned about this episode.
I'm so sad. Like legitimately, some people have complained about how much John and I have hated on the show recently, but like I am so sad that this show didn't this very last episode didn't hit me in a good way.
What is wrong with this full-grown man fighting a 10-year-old?
Right? Episode 291. We've come to it, the final episode of Dragon Ball Z. Here we go, folks. The Japanese title is Even Stronger. Goku's Dream is Super Huge. The American title is Goku's Next Journey. John,
Okay.
it's the last one.
So much pressure.
This is it.
All right, so here's what I wrote. Like, I want to come up with something really neat and interesting. I really want to, but I just can't, because these episodes, all they did was hammer in how much I like this show, but I dislike Goku. And so what I wrote was everybody hates Goku. My original title was Eric finally loves Dragon Ball Z, but that's so not even true that I just erased
But
it.
like Spencer and John hate Dragon Ball.
Like it's
finally
turned,
hate Dragon
yeah.
Ball Z or something.
Spencer and
like
John
it's inverted.
hate Goku, but also really appreciate Dragon Ball Z for what it is. And we really tried to convert Eric, but the reality is we tried to sell him a timeshare. But we didn't know it was a timeshare when we started. So
we thought it was a good deal at first, and then
we really did. And like, it is a good deal, and it's got a great view, and it's got a spa and a hot tub and a blowjob robot, but like,
it's still a timeshare.
It's still a timeshare. Yeah. There, that's my title.
One for the books. Oh,
I need
man.
a book to write it down.
This episode, holy crap, it's a fight between a 12-year-old boy and Goku.
10.
They punch each other. Oob kicks Goku, but he blocks it. But you can tell that Goku, like, his arm shakes. It hurts him. And then Oob punches Goku, and Goku almost gets wrung out, but he doesn't. You think he's unconscious. You think he's going to get counted out. But as the world tournament announcer is counting, Goku gets back up on 2. That's 1-2, not 10, 9, 8, 7. Goku pounds Oob into the tournament floor, and Oob turns red with rage. You can almost see the steam come out of his ears as he bursts out of the floor. This is when I stopped keeping track of specifics and just said Goku and Oob fight some more.
Yep.
Vegeta points out this kid is learning how to fight while he's fighting. As if experience wasn't the greatest teacher of all. I see what they're getting at. I don't mind that as much, because like Oob starts as just a scared little kid. And throughout the episode, he grows into this fierce fighter that is animation wise and attitude wise on the level of Goku or Vegeta. And like that, at least I sort of get what they're going for here. Like he's got this potential in him that's starting to come out.
I would be remiss if I did not mention that this exact same thing happens in the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie, where if you just watch...
Well, don't mention it because I haven't seen it yet.
No. If you just watch the trailer for it, Vegeta says in the trailer, he's learning as he fights. It's like it's 1 for 1. So I'm not spoiling anything because it's in the public trailer or whatever.
Also, you can't spoil something that sucks.
No,
damn.
That's brutal.
Gotcha.
That might be the most brutal take that we've ever had. The best shot of the episode is when it cuts to Hercule in his lounge blowing cigar rings next to Boo and Bee. So confident that all he has to do is just hang out, and he's going to win the tournament because Goku's crew is going to get to the top and it's not going to be a problem. It's weird that they even spend time talking about this because the series doesn't show the conclusion of the tournament. And I'm kind of frustrated by that.
I know. All you want is
setting all this stuff
man.
up. Like, yeah, at this point, it's like they haven't ever finished a tournament in Dragon Ball Z, for one thing. For two, it's setting up this thing where like Hercule's so confident that all he has to do is beat quote unquote Goku or Boo or whoever gets to the top, not even considering that somebody that's not in on their little scheme will get to the top. Like Oob. What would happen if Hercule had to fight Oob? That would be very funny and an interesting conclusion to the tournament where he's knocked out of the championship. But that none of that. It doesn't even come close to fruition. Doesn't the series ends before that happens. So meanwhile, on the tournament floor, Oob and Goku are locked. Their fists are touching and generating electricity, and neither one of them are giving any ground, and the arena is shattering and cracking all around them. Oob Mario 64's Goku, and Goku gets wrecked into the arena floor, and Goku knows what he's doing. He knows Oob, and he knows that he's a reincarnation of Kid Buu, and he knows that this is going to be a powerful fight, and he wanted them to be at their top 100% power level. So why the hell is our hero, who was just granted like 2 episodes of saying how cool he is, making this scene at a public event? Because it's like getting to the point where people are in danger, and he doesn't care.
Like there's a moment where he starts. Okay, this is the weirdest part of the fight. he's up in the air and he starts charging a Kamehameha.
Yeah.
And then Oob, just from the energy and power generated from Goku charging a Kamehameha, blasts the arena to smithereens, at least in the shot, because in the next shot it's fucking fine.
No, it's like a corner.
Either way, Oob starts falling off and then like catches himself with his foot and sees Goku floating there, and Goku's no longer charging the Kamehameha. Like, he started and then he stopped because Oob something, it was so confusing to try and follow that part.
Are you sure you watched this in the right order?
I swear to God I did, because he doesn't shoot the Kamehameha.
I remember it as
I don't think
Goku flies down, grabs Oob. Maybe he doesn't. You're right.
I think
you're right.
It just like the arena that he's holding on to just crumbles.
It doesn't. Yeah, you're right. Like, the blast never releases. It just crumbles. The arena just crumbles from sheer
That's why it's so confusing.
Force?
Because he just starts charging.
I see what you're saying.
I don't understand. I don't know what happened there.
I don't think he releases the beam.
It's hard to follow.
The arena shatters and Oob is about to hit the floor. Goku rescues him, grabs onto him, and floats him up. And he's like, "Hey, kid, you're pretty great at all this. You don't know how to fly or use energy, but don't worry. All you need is a good trainer,
a good master,
whatever."
Yeah.
I'm sorry that I insulted you and whatever, but I'll tell you what, kid. Sounds like a con artist. I'm going to live in your village. I'm going to go live in your village with you, and I'm going to train you. Someday you're going to be the savior of all the worlds because my sons have done nothing but disappoint me. So he flies over
it implies
to the audience
heavily,
to where his family is sitting.
Yeah, he implies
he said it with his eyes. He flies over to where like Bulma and Chi-Chi and everybody are sitting. Apropos of nothing, he just flies over and he's like, "Well, guys, I'm going to go now, and I'm just going to go live with Oob. I know that I could instant transmission to and from the village on a daily basis and like give my sons and my wife a life with me and just kind of treat training Oob as like a day job. But I'm just going to go live and go away from you guys and possibly never see you again. But I'll call, I guess. I'm just going to forget about all my cool abilities and just go do that. So bye."
So bye. And there was a moment, we kind of passed over it, but the last episode, they say it's been 5 years since Goku has seen Bulma or Trunks.
Yeah,
or
which is
anybody.
I didn't want to get into it because it's so fucking complicated. Because like it's a flash forward, so between the Dragon Ball Z episode that takes place in the present and then the one that takes place in the future, there's a 10-year gap. But they haven't seen each other in 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And now us in the future know that Dragon Ball Super fits neatly in that
supposedly
5-year gap. So like
they're expanding
roughly
things.
The end of Super. Everybody goes away for 5 years and then this happens. But there could be more because they might be working on Dragon Ball Super 2 or whatever. So like there might be even more in that 5-year gap, which is just fucking bonkers if you stop to think about it for 2 goddamn seconds.
Like they're going to have to split the timeline. It's the only way for them to do this.
Goku can't fight literal end all be all gods and alternate universe gods if he's excited about fighting the reincarnation of Kid Buu. It doesn't make any sense
because in this
power discrepancy is too big.
Right. Yes. You don't know much of anything about how Super works, and there's no way that any of this is going to fucking fit together. Well, hang on. I'm sorry. Wait, I forgot who's writing the story. So it might actually work out fucking fine. Can you tell I'm a little bitter about how this ended?
No.
Because I just
not at all.
I am sorry to people that might have sent us some feedback saying that we are being too negative about the show, but have you really watched this and separated yourself from the inner fan?
It's a 2-part question. Question 1 is, have you watched this as an adult, like right now? Part 2 is, if you have, and you've enjoyed it significantly more than we sound like we are enjoying it or not right now, why haven't you written us and explained your point of view? Because that's like, we're not saying that you're wrong. We want to know your point of view versus ours. So like maybe there's a part of this that we're not seeing or not considering. We're not smart.
I can tell you right now, it's that they don't have an Eric in the corner saying it sucks.
Is that what it is? I don't, because when we took a bathroom break just a second ago, I went to the bathroom and I thought, would this be different if you weren't here, Eric?
Yeah.
And I don't think it would.
I don't think so.
I think
I think we would feel worse. John and I would feel worse
probably.
Because we entered this podcast being like, Dragon Ball Z is so fucking great. Yeah. And I still like the show. Like, I'm never going to watch it again, but I'll play the video games probably.
Yeah, I still feel exactly the same way I did when we started, which is I really like the universe and everything that was created. This whole thing that we just watched built everything that I love, but it is an imperfect nightmare at times, and I don't want to experience it again. I want to appreciate, like, okay, when we first went into this, in my head, the idea of what this epilogue was awesome.
Yep,
and
same.
I have never seen it, and I wish I didn't. And that's how I feel for like 40% of it. 60% of it, I loved it.
I fucking watched these episodes. I remember watching these episodes on Toonami, and I fucking loved them. Loved this epilogue. Watching them now, I don't understand why. Like, I don't get what 13-year-old me was thinking.
Because you think, they're going to go on and do more. You think when you watch this,
I guess,
they're going to expand
like,
the story. And then you heard about GT and you got excited about that because it's like, wow, they're gonna,
that is a good point. Yeah,
they're going to expand the story. And like, just like where they left off with Oob, they have so much to work with now because you didn't care so much about them living in that universe that they created. Like when I was 13 or 14, I just cared about the punching and the fighting and the potential for cooler fights. Because now Goku's going to go with this Oob character. And if Goku's going to be training Oob, then imagine what ultimate universal destructive creatures exist that they're going to have to fight.
Yeah.
Like,
and then like you get to the age where you're just like, I'm like dad age. What about his sons?
Yeah.
That he was training not only like to be there as a dad, but that he was training to take his place. Did he just give up on them? Did he disappoint them? Like, how do they feel? Oh my God.
Now you know what comes after. So the potential is not there anymore. Before, the potential's all there. It's like, oh, this is going to keep going and being awesome and it's going to be cool shit. And now you know, well, from what I hear, GT kind of sucks after this. And like, this is the peak. Like, this is the best of Dragon Ball Z, right?
Some people say that Super is pretty damn good, but I haven't seen it, so I don't know. I don't know.
It can be.
Like young you is like, oh, there's so much potential and it's going to be so sweet. And then,
well, a large part of young us thinking it was awesome was also young us not understanding how any of this was made, how to write a story, how we could be people that create shit.
Yeah.
So there was like a magic curtain.
But I'm kind of mad at Kid Me. Are you guys mad at Kid You?
Well, Eric's probably not.
I'm so happy with Kid Me.
Like, what the, you stupid little freak? Like, why did you think that this was good storytelling? Why did you like Goku so much?
Because it was a cool fight.
It wasn't a cool fight. It wasn't like there have been better fights in Dragon Ball Z. The fight between Goku and Oob had no, like, the animation wasn't that great. Like, there was no like energy blasts or beam struggles.
There could
the shit that I remember loving.
What else was there though? At the time, what else could you watch that would give you the same adrenaline rush that Dragon Ball Z gave you? That's kind of part of it.
That's a decent point. That's a decent point.
Like, what else was there? Because I remember adults at the time saying like, this show is just so much pumped up testosterone. Like you shouldn't be watching this. That's what they used to say. And watching it now, it's so incredibly subdued compared to some of the things that we have today. But at the time, you loved it for what it was, which was the maximum amount of violence that you could show on TV at the time. And so at the time, probably awesome. In retrospect, I wish I had never watched the epilogue. I think it is better in your head than it ever would be.
It really did fizzle out. And I encourage all of you out there that disagree with us, if you've gotten this far, to let us know.
Yeah.
Send us an email at mail, mail at ehdbz.com, or text/call us at 385-DARE-1-OX. We would absolutely love to hear from you sincerely. Like, I feel bad that I feel bad watching this. Like, I want to have a different perspective on it. And I think that the answer right now, is nostalgia. Like, you're just looking back on it as a kid and enjoying it. And I get that. I was there, but then I watched this today and it was like, it broke some fundamental storytelling rules and deprived me of some character moments that I really wish had existed. And I feel bad. Like, that sucks. And I want to feel better. So if you think we're wrong, let us know.
Please save their childhood.
You know what this is like? A couple of years ago, I tried to rewatch Pokemon. The first Pokemon. And in watching that show again, it is so fucking slow and not quality in a lot of ways that I didn't remember. Because when I was a kid, I just kind of cared about the fun fight music, and then the cool Pokemon that I got to see on screen, and the cute little sounds that they made, which imagining now, I see just like some huge dude like Snorlax into a microphone, like I just did right now. And so I see past all of that stuff. The ending of Dragon Ball Z was just kind of like a peeling away of the layers of the mystique of the magic that could have been. The potential is gone. It's just like laid bare, and it is what it is, and it's not great.
So
I don't know.
Can I pose a question?
Yeah.
Knowing where you started on this podcast, watching the show, and where you currently are, to preserve your Dragon Ball Z experience, would you do it? Like if you could go back and erase your memory of this watch through, is it better to keep it in those kid nostalgic goggles on?
It depends.
I'm happy that I went through it personally.
Yeah, I'm happy that I went through it, but I will say my view of the show is a lot worse than when I started. I think that like the community that we fostered and like just the fun that I've had with you guys talking through this bullshit is worth the tarnished image of Dragon Ball Z that I now have.
Oh.
But I wouldn't I wouldn't want to give that up to preserve the image. But the image is much worse now that we have finished all of it.
Really?
Yeah. I remembered a lot more of the good moments, and my view of the end of the show especially was very different. False, but very different.
That's probably a big part of it, because I had never seen the ending of the show on television. So I didn't know what I was. Well, I mean, everybody says it's shit, so I kind of knew. But like, I remember how good the Cell stuff was as a kid, and I think I did like it for those kid reasons. But watching it as an adult,
no, it was legit good. It was fun.
It was actually very good. And like even a lot of the Saiyan stuff was really interesting and drew me in. The Namek stuff was a dip. The Cell stuff, the Android and Cell stuff was
it's funny.
awesome.
It's kind of amazing how like much the we'll talk about this later. We'll talk about this in a future episode. But
yeah, there's a lot to get into.
I was surprised. I was surprised at the way that the internet and the world at large views Dragon Ball Z versus what I viewed as being good. I'll say
we should talk about it more in the next episode.
I'm hoping that it gives us some fodder for we got a couple things planned for the next two episodes.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it'll give us some fodder for that. But we'll get into all of that and more next time on Arcade's Dragon Ball Z. Thank you for listening to Arcade Dragon Ball Z. You may hate the show, but he loves that you're listening. Please, if you have any feedback for us, send us email at mail, M-A-I-L, at ehdbz.com. You can also find us on Twitter using the handle at Arcade'sDBZ, on Instagram using the handle at Arcade's Dragon Ball Z, because fucking Instagram. We're also on Discord. Our community is lovely, and they're hosting community events on every off week that we do not put up an episode every Friday. That can be reached at discord.io/Arcade'sDBZ. And as a special thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning of this episode, we are coming up on the end of this podcast, obviously. For the next Saga and review, I would love to get some fan participation. Let us know your favorite moments of the last Saga, and we will explain them to Eric, give him a question, give him a comment, give him something, and we will fit it into a timeline and explain the last Saga from the World Martial Arts Tournament all the way until the beginning of these 5 episodes we talked about today. Again, you can just email us, call us, text us. If you've never communicated with us before, I would also love 2 sentences, actually. I love Dragon Ball Z because, and I hate Dragon Ball Z because. We've gotten a few so far, and I'm really appreciative of the people that have reached out to us. Have we gotten voicemails and texts for that stuff, John? I've seen some
we got
emails.
a couple texts. We got a couple voicemails.
Okay,
I'm just sitting on them. We're waiting for the fan mail for most of them, but for the questions that you posed, we've gotten some responses.
Sweet. Okay, so if you've been,
but not enough.
Yeah, if you've been waiting on it, help us out. We're asking. We'd love to feature you guys at for the end recap of all of this after the Saga review.
It's your final chance.
I can't. I've had like 2 or 3 emails with like the homework you gave me as the subject line. So great. Yeah.
That makes me so happy. Oh my God. That made me Danny DeVito
your
laugh.
homework.
Do your homework. Get back to us.
Turn it in.
I'm excited for these last couple episodes and then whatever we've got in store for you guys moving forward. The music for the podcast was done by John Good. You can find more of his music on SoundCloud using the username Burn7. And
do you want to, before we do this, do you want to record something that I can throw in the beginning asking for questions?
I don't know,
from
maybe.
people?
Should I do it now or at the very end?
If you want to do it now, I'm editing it, so I'll listen to this whole thing.
All right, let me rewind my emotional state back to
To happy?
yeah, to happy. Hey there, gang.
Yeah, that'll work.
That's it.
Now we're at the end of
we
this
done?
episode. At the end of every episode, we like to shout out all of our patrons. Every single fucking one.
Oh, this is Eric's job. John and I clocked our
And this
hours sneakily because
We
we
did.
knew that it would be the shorter lists.
That's messed up. You guys didn't tell me about that.
And guess what? We have more patrons right now than we've ever had, so strap in.
All right, send me the list. How am I supposed to read it if I don't have the list?
All right, hang on. All right, here's the list.
Oh my gosh, let's see if this list can zoom in far enough. Come on, freaking hell. Slack, come on. Can't read it on this damn screen. It's too small, John.
It's because I
It's
kind
too
of
blurry.
I screenshotted the smallest possible
Oh my
version
God.
of it.
Oh, come on. I can't read it.
All of them in one. Yeah, that's bad.
There you go.
He usually sends me.
Now
two
you'll be able to read
screenshots.
'em.
Yeah, like that.
Okay, there we go. I could almost get it. It might be fun to try and see me figure out what the hell.
Oh yeah, that would be cool. Try and read the smallest list in the world where it's all super blurry.
All right, patrons. Thank you for your patronage. We are so appreciative of everything you guys do for us, making this podcast possible. Even though I hate Dragon Ball Z, I don't hate any of you. So we just want to say thanks to Hearst Ran Out of Gas, Andrew Lewis. Oh man, I'm going to butcher all of these. I'm so sorry, people. Esquilito, Tyler Hyatt, Dan Shumate, Erwin, Tom Prochnicki, Mr. Antiquity 37, Nick Archer, Nathan Rodkey, MJ Snyder, Felix Rodriguez, Alex Lau Kershaw, Aoku and Dad, Artex the Creator, Lori, Eric White, Dalton Plunkett, Croy Keener,
Yep.
Dr. Brief, CJ Collins, Marinus Schneck, The Fish, Oh Noe Zoe, Amanda Gillies, and Andrew Winden. Thank you so much. Again, we appreciate everything, and I just can't imagine not being able to sit here and bitch about Dragon Ball Z with my friends. So I owe all of that to you and these two schmucks.
How nice was that? It was very.
You're gonna have to imagine it because we're done.
We're done. No, we have
it.
one more thing to do, John. We have
Oh, no.
we have the last pun in all caps.
Oh my God, this is it. It's the final pun. Do you have one? Do you have anything?
No,
Final?
no, I'm
Fuck,
trying to
alright.
think.
I'm thinking oob.
Yeah.
Probably.
The only word that I can think of is oubliette, but I don't know if that's like usable in a sentence.
Oh God.
Or like-
oh Jesus. Yeah.
Ooh, but and then a B word, but I don't know.
Trying to think of a pun makes me feel like I'm in an oubliette.
Don't feel like you're an oubli yet. There'll be more Dragon Ball Z. Eric hates Dragon Ball Z. Something.
What does that even mean?
Yeah. What did you just say?
Don't feel like you're in an oubliette.
Oh,
Isn't that?
I thought you said an oubliette, not in an.
I may have trying to fit all of those thoughts in one sentence. It's not working.
The show's over. Go to get out of here.
We're not gonna Ox King you twice.
Yeah.
All right, that was legitimately the best pun we've had in like the last
It really is.
7 episodes at least. Yeah.
And maybe every episode.
I feel like I probably made that one like a year ago and just forgot.
It's possible, but that sounds good enough to me.